fellow programmers. Welcome back once more to this drives course. And in this section, we are going to configure our Yaskawa drive. So remember, guys, this is exactly the same model as our simulator. That is V1000. Okay, so basically everything that you had practiced in your emulator or simulator, you are going to see that is pretty similar, if not exactly the same. Okay? Now, what do we have here? We have our drive. We have its, let's just zoom in. So here we go. We have its display, its screen, its start, stop, and the local and remote button. So we have here its entry point, where if you notice with our Delta drive, we also have a USB entry. And there was another input that seemed like it was Ethernet. Now generally they have this because of our community that already displays its brand. So I think the Yaskawa is the memo bus, and there are different or other types of inputs, the USB type where we can configure our drive, but we need a special additional software. So we need to connect to our terminal, and also we need a cable or an interface. So the best, I think, is to configure and set it up right through our keyboard. Just in case you had any idea or any questions about what this was, this is what it was. So what else can we analyze on this side? We have here, let me get this closer, let me focus on this. So we have our A1, A2, positive voltage part, and our common. Now what is this for? For our analogical part, our analog part. This is where we can connect our potency meter to connect our external force. We have our very famous S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6, S7, and our SC. These are for our digital inputs. Then we have our MA, MB, and MC, and these are our outputs. And we also have our bypass between HC and H1. Now, these are for our safety. But we're not going to need this, at least according to our manual. And then if we connect through our bypass, then it's going to send us out to an error, a flaw. Now, what else do we have here? Let's focus on this, and we have our feed part and our motor part. Now, this is it. Okay, this is pretty easy. So now I'm going to add to my camera. I'm going to set it up here behind. Here we go. And here it is. All right. Now, what are we going to do? I'm going to feed and I'm going to energize my drive, which is already on. Okay, so now I'd like to modify its frequency, which it won't allow me to do so because I don't have a potency meter. So now let's try to change our frequency through our keyboard. Now for this, let's check to see what parameter do we need. So parameter B101. Let's input our data on this video. Okay? But on our following video, we should name them. For now, it's only about entering parameters. So then that's B1. Let's see here. That's B1. And here we go. That's B101. Parameters. Exactly the same as our simulator. So that's V101. And it's telling us that it is set up by default on our analog part, which in this case is our potency meter. So we don't have this. So what is left? Option 0. Okay, so let's see if this is true. Previously, it didn't allow us to enter our frequency, but now it is going to allow us to do so. So we can add our frequency. Let's leave it at 7 hertz. Make it 8. Let's make it 8. All right, 9. Let's make it 9. So that it changes according to our previous one that we had, which was our delta. So now that's 9 hertz. We're going to go below. And little by little, we're going to continue improving and doing this. So now we have our command part, which is our frequency. Now, what else? We're going to go back to our document, which tells us that B102. Let's see which one it has. So that's B102. And it's telling us that it is set as digital inputs. So it's already set by default. Now, what else is next? We do not need to modify anything here. So what is next? We have our digital input connection, and actually have this already predefined, which is A103. And it says here that I need to enter 3, 3, 3, 0. So I'm going to select this, and let's see what it does. So we're going to click enter. Okay. And our parameters now by default, which are going to help us, are going to enter our 3-wire connection, and they should be loaded. So all that would be left would be to verify our input part, which is H1. Let's see here. So H1. Just making some adjustments here. Just reading this. Here we go. H101. Let's see what it has set here for default, the 01. It already has the default part, so it probably didn't already configure this. And we need the 5 here. So it's parameter number 5, and this should be in 0. Let's see if this is true. So this is already in 0. Now, why would this happen? Because already the drive, at the moment, this is very specific. It's already telling us when you configure your parameter A103 as 3330, and then if you change it also to H105 to the 0 part, which means the entry point S5, and the 0 part, which is what I was saying the last time. So with this, we would change the 3-wire sequence. So then now, this drive is doing it automatically only by changing its parameters. Okay, so it's already configured. Now, what would be missing here? Our motor part. So let's enter the information from our data plate for the motor, for whatever we can for L2, and for our E201 on. Okay. Now I'm going to enter this so that we don't waste any more time, because what I want is to show you what would happen. Okay. What would happen if, let's see here. Okay, let me zoom out for a bit. Just trying to place this and put it correctly. Okay, so what would happen if I were to change or remove the bypass? This is something that's very important that I want to check out with you guys. Here we go. So what would happen here? So I'm going to remove the bypass. And let's see what our drive has. So it's giving us an alarm actually. Now what does this alarm mean? HBB. The same alarm as the simulator. So you need to take this into account. If you wish to connect an emergency stop, you can connect it on this side or connect a digital input on whichever one is available and connect it through the fast stop. Both of them are completely valid points. I decided on this one, and if for whatever reason it doesn't have this or it's asking us for the safety part, then you need to do this on this way. But both of them are valid. Okay, so then I'm going to move on to our next video, and for that lapse I'm going to enter the motor parameters, and we're only going to test this. Let's see if this works. The sequence as such with our 3-wire. Now having said this, I'll see you guys in our next video. Big hug.